everyone, welcome to our channel Sangeeta to Teach. Today in this video we are going to look at the National Education Policy 2020, which is very important, a current issue. So we will discuss the key highlights and a complete analysis on the National Education Policy 2020. So let's start. So we'll discuss from the first National Education Policy. So first National Education Policy was adopted in the year 1968 during Indira Gandhiji's government. And the second National Education Policy was in the year 1986. So first one was in 1968 and the second one was in 1986. So this was during Rajiv Gandhi. So the second National Education Policy has been modified. This is not something new, but the second National Education Policy was modified in the year 1992. This was under P.V. Narasimha Rao's government. Okay, you're very clear, right? The first one was in 1968, second one was in 1986, and the second one was modified in the year 1992 during P.V. Narasimha Rao's government. Okay. So you might be thinking, maybe because of COVID or so we had this new National Education Policy. No, it is not at all because of COVID or some current issues. This has been in the BJP's manifesto in the year 2014. So in 2014, BJP has given in their manifesto that they will have a new education policy. So because of this, new education plan has been there. So at that time, we had Smriti Irani as our MHRD minister, the Ministry of Human Resource Development. So Smriti Irani, under her leadership, we had a committee. There was a new committee that was formed that was headed by TSR Subramaniam. This name is important as well. And here is the person. Here's TSR Subramaniam. So what are the key objectives of this committee? This committee had an objective of to improve the quality of education, to have a credibility of education, and to address the gaps in the implementation. And they have given a report. They have submitted a report on 7th May 2016. But this committee or the recommendations of this committee were not up to the mark. So there was another new committee that has been formed. So the new committee was under the leadership of Dr. K. Kasturi Rangan. So this name is very important. So this committee was of the members of 9 members who had done this research on the education plan to education policy or so, and they finally have drafted the National Education Policy 2019. So this name Kasturi Rangan is very important, and they were 9 members. Okay, coming to the changes in the new NEP. NEP is nothing but National Education Policy 2020. So what are the new changes? The first change is that the HRD, the Human Resource Development Ministry, is now changed or renamed as Ministry of Education. Right? The second one, the GDP investment in education is going to increase from 1.6 to 6%. You can see that there is an increase from 1.6 to 6% in the investment in the education. GDP of investment in education is going to increase. Okay. The next one is that they are going to focus on the gross enrollment ratio by 2035. So this is the target. By 2035, they have to increase the gross enrollment. So the focus is where? So the focus is on the secondary school. See, presently for the class 11th and 12th, we have the current enrollment as 56.5%. They wanted to increase this percent to 100%. So they wanted more number of students to do their class 11th and 12th. And in higher education also, see, people complete their degree or less than degree. The people or the students going to higher education is very less. That is currently 26.3%. But they want to increase the gross enrollment in higher education by 50%. So in the secondary school, they wanted to increase by 100%, and higher education, they wanted to increase by 50%. By when they wanted to achieve this focus of gross enrollment? By 2035. This is also very important for your exams. Coming to the school system, the changes that have been brought in the school system are previously, or we have previously, or existence is that we have 10 plus 2. Now the format is now going to change to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So we will understand what is that we are learning in 5, and what is that we are going to learn in 3, and then next in 3, and next in 4. So this is what we are going to discuss in the next slide. So as we know, the 10 plus 2 is being divided into 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So what is that 5 years? The 5 years, first 5 years is nothing but the foundation stage. The foundation stage is 5 years, and this is further classified into 3 and 2 years. So in the first 3 years, you learn pre-primary school. You'll go to a pre-primary school where you have fun activities, the play activities where you learn. And the next 2 years will have class 1 and 2. Okay, the preparatory stage. At this stage, you'll go from 3rd class to 5th class. So this is for 3 years where your classes are from 3rd class to 5th class. And the next stage is the middle stage, where you again have 3 years of course, where the class starts from 6th to 8th. Okay, the next level is that secondary stage. So the classes will start from 9th to 12th. So you have 4 years here. So now you understood this 5-year preparatory stage. You again have 3 years. Middle stage you have 3 years, and lastly the secondary stage you have 4 years. So that is why it is called as 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 stage, right? Okay, now let's see in the diagrammatic way. The thing is that in the school system, at your 4 years of your secondary stage, you can choose the subjects. So now let's discuss in detail with a diagram. So as you can see in the existing academic structure, you can see that we have 10 years plus 2. Soon after your 10th board exam, you will go to your inter, that is 11th and 12th, the next 2 years. But now the new academic structure is designed in such a way that the first 5 years, that is divided into 3 and 2 years, where you have the pre-primary schools, your kindergarten. So before, normally the classes will start from 1st to 10th, right? But this is formally designed in such a way that your pre-primary school, that is your kindergarten, is also included, so that this education quality will meet the global standards. So now even the kindergarten has now been formalized way. So the foundation stage is a multi-level, a play, an activity-based learning, whereas the preparatory stage, where your classes from 3rd to 5th, you will start learning in an interactive classroom learning, where you start learning and interacting. And in the class 6 to 8, you'll start with experimenting. You are aware of different kinds of subjects like science, mathematics, social sciences, humanities, etc., so that you have a glance or an idea of what are different subjects you have. So this will happen at your 3rd stage, that is 6th class, from your class 6 to 8th class. And then finally at the secondary stage, they are multidisciplinary. You can choose what subject you love. You can have a great critical thinking, the flexibility of choosing your own subjects, right? This has been the new academic structure. Coming to the changes in the school education that we were talking, that 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 system, here you are going to learn coding from your class 6 itself. Interesting, right? And the language, the mother tongue is to be the medium of instruction. This is not mandatory, but they said it can be the medium of instruction till your 5th class, but preferably till your class 8th. So the medium of instruction can be your mother tongue. But there is some criticism over this, but the thing is that when you are discussing or the instructions are given in your mother tongue, there is an ability of students to perform well because they are more connected to their mother tongue. The mother tongue to be the medium of instruction till your 5th class, but preferably till your class 8th. So mother tongue can be the medium of instruction. It is not mandatory, but it can be. So this is a clause that has been given, and this is for both public and private, wherever you want to. And the next thing is the report card. This is most interesting one. So your report card is going to be the more comprehensive one, where it is based on skills and capabilities. It is overall the 360-degree progress card, where you have equal weightage to your academics, practical and co-curricular activities. So there is nothing less or more, but everything is equal: academics, practical, co-curricular activities. So your report card is going to be a 360-degree progress card. So now we have a doubt whether we are going to have this board exams, the 10th board or the 12th board. Yes, of course we are going to have this board exams. The board exams for grade 10 and 12 will be continued, but with a low stake. The focus now is more on testing the concepts and the knowledge application. So the more focus is on testing the concepts and the knowledge applications. And students are given a second chance. See, something which is interesting: they are given second chance at their boards so that they can improve their scores. And students will be able to choose many of the subjects and the levels in which they take board exams. See, something which is very very interesting in this is that, see, some people might be very good in maths and some may not be. So that should not affect you. So if you're very bad at maths, you can take the basic level. If you're good in maths, you can take the advanced level. This is just an example that I'm giving. You have the level, you can choose the level of exam. Whether you wanted to take it in a basic level or in an advanced level. So this is something important and very interesting in this recommendations. You can choose your level of, not only just your subjects, but also the level of exam. It can be the basic or an advanced level, right? Okay, there is no hard separation among curricular, extracurricular. See, the subjects are equally given weightage along with the co-curricular activities. If you love music, that is equally given importance as you study some other course like science or something. So it is not the academics, but also an equal weightage to the vocational sciences, arts and extracurricular activities. So there is no separation. So co-curricular and the vocational subjects like sports, arts, commerce, science will treat at same level. If you're studying photography, if you're studying dance, if you're studying music, that is given an equal weightage as that of you're studying some science, you're studying some management course. So everything is given an equal weightage. So NEP 2020, the National Education Policy 2020, to achieve the universal foundational literacy and numeracy in primary school by 2025. So this is important. They wanted to achieve it by 2025. Yes, the pupil teacher ratio, that is the student teacher ratio, will be 30:1, which will be ensured. And there must be an increased focus in their reading, speaking, writing, counting, arithmetic and mathematical thinking. So the main focus in this education system is that they have to increase their focus on reading, writing and the basic knowledge of arithmetic, counting and mathematical thinking. So they have to develop their critical thinking, logical thinking also. And the national repository of the high quality resources will be made available on Diksha. Diksha is a portal, a platform where you have a high quality resources that will be available for everybody, so that they can study or they get trained for themselves, so that we meet the global standards of our education, right? So these are some of the important points. And coming to the college admission entrance exam. So now we talked about we have talked about 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 system, that is where you finish your 12th grade, right? So after that you're going to have a common entrance exam for your admissions. So from this common entrance exam will be conducted by NTA is nothing but National Testing Agency, which will conduct a common entrance exam for the admissions in universities across the country. So now what will happen, you will have a common aptitude test along with your specialization, or whatever special subject you wanted to choose, you will have that subject. And this test will be held twice in every year, so that you need not waste 1 year of your time for the next time. But in a year they're going to conduct the exam for twice, so you're not going to lose any of your gaps, or you don't waste your time, right? Okay, coming to the changes in the higher education. So a higher education has a holistic undergraduate program. Now, before we used to have this degree of 3 years or 4 years. Now the undergraduate also has become a 4 years program, where you have a flexible curriculum, vocational subjects, interdisciplinary combination of subjects, like science, commerce, and humanities. Like if you go to science, you have a certain set of subjects in science itself, and you have to read those only. But now this system, this national education policy 2020 has brought a changes in even in your interdisciplinary combination of subjects. If you really wanted to do if you love science and also accounts, then you can take the subjects. You can choose your own subjects. You can choose one subject from humanities, one subject from management, one subject from science. This is allowed. And there are also multiple entry and exit options. So for example, if you wanted to if you thought you were interested in history, and you started a course from history, and unfortunately you felt that history is not my cup of tea, or you wanted to leave this history, and then if you have completed 1 year in your history, then they will give you a certificate saying that you have completed a 1 year course of duration in history. So and then you can start with another course that you would like to. So here you're not wasting your 1 year of time. Here you're getting a certificate. If you're completing the 2 years, then you would get a diploma certificate. If you're completing a 3 years, you might be getting an advanced certificate. And the next level would be the mastering of that subject course. So you have, you're not going to waste your time. You always have and you can also come back to where you have left. So there are multiple entry and exit options that are there for you in the higher education. So I can say you that it is an interdisciplinary, where you can have your own choice of subjects, where you can choose your subjects. And MPhil is discontinued. There is a flexibility of subjects where you can choose your own subjects. A single regulator for the higher education has been implemented, which excludes the medical and legal, and there is an aim to multidisciplinary by 2040. So this is the target, right? Okay, coming to the academic bank of credits. So what is this academic bank of credits? So this is a digital storing academic credits which is earned by different students, like by doing different courses where you can earn your credits. So this can be transferred and counted towards the final degree earned. So for example, if you have studied some physics or something, and you do not like it, but still you had a gap, you can have a sabbatical gap of 1 year. You can do something like if you are an out of box student and you wanted to try something new, and you come back, when you come back, the credits that you have earned will remain, and that can be transferred, right? This is academic bank of credits. The multidisciplinary education and research universities, like for example, we might be thinking that IITs is only for BTech or something like that. So now this is going to change. The multidisciplinary education and research universities are going to come up. The research culture in higher education is going to come up and improve. The National Research Foundation will help us in the research culture, and the Higher Education Commission of India will set up. So previously we used to have this UGC, right? The University Grants Commission, which used to take care of this higher education. Now the Higher Education Commission of India will set up a single body for entire higher education, excluding the medical and legal education, right? Coming to the technology in education. So we use a lot of technology in our education planning, teaching and learning assessments, the Digital India campaign, administration and management. So we need technology into our education, right? And there are different portals, platforms that have been set up. The National Education Technology Forum, MOOC, that is massive online courses, open online courses that you can take up, the virtual labs and online assessments and exams. So there is a lot of technology into the education field as well. Coming to some of the changes for teachers. The National Curriculum Framework for Teachers Education, NCFTE 2021. So this says that they should have a curriculum, a structure or a framework for teachers. The 30, the minimum degree qualification, that is a 4-year integrated BEd, is being setup. So they should have a minimum qualification of 4-year integrated BEd by 2030 so that they can become future teachers. So the main objective of this new education policy is to have a universalization of education and achieving the global standards of education. So to set up ourselves to set the standards to ourselves in terms of education, this new policy is going to help us. And it might be taking some time to implement, but when once it is done, I hope this will change. This will bring a lot of changes in our education system, and let's hope for the good. Thank you so much. If you're visiting for the first time, please like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.